Howdy folks, this is Shane. Today I'm having a chat with Kennis Russell from the Kennis Russell YouTube channel. He has a really great mix of content and he's a really nice guy, so if you haven't heard of him or you're not sure where to find him, I'll put a link through to his channel in the cards so you can find out more about what he does. For those unfamiliar with his videos, he does a great selection of music theory videos, demos, vlogs, and other type of content that is useful for you as a musician. Kennis sent me a message on Facebook asking me would I be interested in doing a bit of a chat with him, and I said absolutely. What would you like to talk about? So we're going to talk about a range of subjects today. I'm going to break these videos down into separate sections for your listening pleasure, and all being well, the full audio of this will be on my iTunes podcast. So you can type in the Blues Tone podcast and you can find that. This particular chat doesn't revolve around just gear. If you're a YouTuber as well, you'll get some value out of this. If you're a musician, you'll get some value out of this. I hope you enjoy this. Thanks again. Let's get into it.
Well, I guess I would like to know from you kind of where did you get started with YouTube? Like what was your, do you remember what your first video was?
My first video, I think, was actually some pool trick shot videos. A mate of mine, we used to live right next to a massive pool hall, and we were heavily inspired by a movie called Pool Hall Junkies, where we'd go down and try all these trick shots and, you know, try to get all these crazy shots on tape. And I've always been into filming as well. I've been shooting videos since I was old enough to own a video camera, and back in the VHS days. So I wanted, I guess, something I could put a lot of these videos I'd make just for fun online, and it started, I guess, with basically a whole mix of content. So anything from pool trick shots to surfing videos.
Cool.
To what else did I have on there in the early days? I was actually living in Michigan at the time in the States, and I put like a joke tour of the University of Michigan on YouTube, and I think that might still be online. I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check. But if you go back to the start of my channel, that's where it all basically started. So it just happened. I was looking for a product video on, I think, Behringer pedals or something like that, and I realized, you know what, there's no videos on this online, and I actually owned one, so I thought, all right, I'll just do a video and see how that went. And I was really surprised, like, people were watching it, and you know, I didn't have any lighting. It was in my bedroom. I had a mess behind me, I think, and long hair, and so it was quite a while ago. But yeah, I think that was the start of going, hey, people are actually interested in gear. So my channel did take a bit of a swerve after that, but it was basically a mix of content prior to that. And sometimes it was also a mix of content after that as well. I also wanted it for my band footage as well, just for, you know, gig videos that I could help try to get gigs with and all that kind of stuff. So In the Blues was actually my trio's name. We were called the In the Blues Trio. And yeah, so
are you still with that group?
I didn't know what to call the channel.
You're still?
Nah, I've got my own band still, but it just goes by my name now. Yeah. So yeah, that's In the Blues was just like, I'll just call it that.
Right.
You know, I didn't really think twice about it, but I'm kind of glad I picked something that is pretty unique and just yeah, it kind of suits what I do now, I guess. So yeah, I kind of fluked that one out to some extent. What about yourself? What'd you start?
I started, I used to teach music lessons, and so before my kids were born, and I put up a couple backing tracks just for my students to play along with, just blues backing tracks, and they were actually horrible. Like I was out of time, and it just threw them up there, and I kind of forgot about them for a while, and then I put up another backing track that I did a little bit more production quality on it for them, and then kind of left it, and one of those started to take off a little bit, and actually is still now one of my biggest videos. It's got like 1.5 million views or something like that, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And then in 2011, Roland introduced a product called the GR55. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not. It's like a synth guitar thing. It has like that 13-pin pickup thing. And so I'm a worship leader at a church. And so I don't know if you've ever listened to like the church music type thing, but it's real like, well, church music is everything from like an organ doing whatever to rock band. We're more on the rock band style. So
yeah.
So one of the things that's real popular in that is it's like wall of sound, you know, kind of a U2-y type sound. And so we were a real small group. Sometimes I wouldn't have a bass player. Sometimes I'd just have just a drummer. And so I needed to kind of do a lot. So I got the GR55. I actually didn't know if it was going to come out or not. They had what's called the GR20, and I was thinking, you know what, NAMM's right around the corner. I wonder if they're going to release something new, and they did. And I was probably one of the first guys that bought one, period. Because I was like following NAMM live, basically, just waiting for someone to post something. So as soon as I was at Guitar Center, they have Guitar Center in Australia?
No, but we've got the equivalent of it here, yeah.
So as soon as they were there, I got one. And same type of thing, I just started making, you know, I did a demo video of it. And like I remember making it, and then a day or two later looking, and I was telling my wife, I was like, there's 8,000 views. I can't believe this, you know. And so then I just decided I probably have more GR55 footage from that first week than all of YouTube combined, because I went through every one of the sounds, like did overkill. But there was nothing out there, same type of thing. So, and those kind of took off. And then so I think that's when I kind of started following you. When did you really start your channel?
I started in 2006, but I didn't really start doing videos until, well, the first gear demo I think I did was 2007, and it was awful. Like, it was really quite bad. Look, I had a mix of content in 2007. A couple of the videos were good, a couple were awful. And I think I may have already taken down a couple of my like very first videos that were just really bad. But 2007 was when I first started, you know, messing around with the demos, and not really thinking twice about it. But it was later, much later, I think 2000. I always get the dates confused. It might have been around, it was either 2010 or somewhere around there where I first started thinking, oh, you know what, this might be something I can actually do more of and make much better.
Yeah, because I started.
It was just around that time.
You were definitely before me, because I was following you and thinking like, this guy does a really good job with his, and kind of not necessarily modeling it, but looking at what you did and trying to do my own thing. But I don't know. I don't know if I think that you know you're right about changing up your channel a little bit and not doing as many demos, because I think that YouTube has really changed.
And there's something to be said about getting value out of videos, and that's the one thing I was talking about before we went on air. It was like I kind of feel like people want something to help them, not something they can buy. Right. I mean, there's times where I look for gear demos because I'm really looking for something to buy. But if you've got 20,000+ subscribers and all you're doing is pumping out products, it boxes you in as basically, I don't want to use a crass term, but like a gear or whatever. You're basically, or a company promoter, which is not where I wanted to end up being, or that wasn't my intention when I first started. Mm-hmm. That was part of the reason I didn't do the whole NAMM thing. There was already enough YouTubers going there, spamming out videos with their, you know, mobile phones or cell phones, whatever, and, you know, just talking to companies and all that. I kind of felt like this is sort of not music. This is stuff that doesn't help you. Like, it might help you in some ways musically or creatively. I'm not saying that, but it seems like there's this deviation in channels where there's content like ours, and yours especially, which is why I subscribed to you a few months back. Well, I've just found your channel by, I don't know how I found it actually, but you might have come up in the suggestions, and I was like, you know what I like about Kennis? He's actually got stuff that's useful for people outside of just saying, here's another pedal, here's another pedal, here's another amplifier, here's another, you know, there's only so much of that people can take. And I also sort of find that if I can help someone use something they already have, or show people that two things can essentially sound exactly the same, that's maybe better information for them than just saying, here, go out and buy whatever to sort of improve your
Yeah.
tone when it really, it all comes from your hands, your playing, your technique, more so than it does the stuff you buy. I mean, that can actually help your tone too, but you know, a good player can make anything sound good, as opposed to people that might have the misconception that people are just pushing gear on them all the time. I've really had a huge change of direction in the last few weeks where I just thought, you know what, this isn't what I wanted to be doing all the time. Like, I'm grateful that companies want to have me promote their stuff and all that kind of thing, but I'm way more selective now about what I've been helping. I help the smaller companies get established, and if I can be their voice, that's cool too. But yeah, I see some channels just pushing gear and pushing companies. You know, musos have a tendency of being huge brown noses when it comes to stuff, and I don't know how to put that in any other term. So,
gear
does that make sense to America?
Yeah, gear snob. That's what I call it.
Yeah, and I don't want to be one of those guys where I'm kissing ass of all the companies out there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Want
Yeah,
to work with me, with someone with integrity, then they can. I don't want to have a company manage what I push out to people, and I don't want to be any. I don't ever want to be one of those guys.
Have you ever had somebody trying to? Like, have you ever gotten a pedal that you're like, I can't give a good review of this or a good?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got 5 pedals from one company, and they were junk. They were the noisiest, worst pedals I've ever used in my life. And I said, I'm not going to do a video on these. These are crap. They're like, no, just do it and try it with this amp, try it with that amp. I said, I've tried it with 3 or 4 amps. They're garbage. Like, I wouldn't wish these upon anybody.
Right.
So they kept pushing me. They're like, oh, you know, we sent you this stuff and blah, blah. All right, I said, all right, I'll put a video together. So I made like a mock video for this stuff called DJ White Noise, where it was literally like, you push one pedal on, it goes, and then you push another one, and it goes, dum, 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 you know. So I turned it into like a noise fest video. And yeah, it was at that, I knew back then, I'm like, I can't justifiably put this out onto people and then have them go out and buy this stuff. It's just, it's not good. I said to the company, they pressured me to take the video down. I said, not a chance. If you want to impress me, fix up your pedals. I already told them they had a problem. This was a back and forth conversation over a few weeks. I sent them videos and they're like, no, it's your setup. I'm like, I got some of the best gear that I know of, you know, for recording and all that kind of stuff. I said, it's not my gear. I used to be a studio owner. I don't have a problem with my gear. I know how it all works. I said, send me back the products after you've actually fixed them, and then I'll do you a proper video. If you don't fix them, that video's staying online. It's still online. So, yeah, I don't get pressured into giving people favorable reviews. If I like something on a video, I'll say so. And there's other times where I don't actually like certain types of pedals, like fuzz pedals, or, you know, there's some fuzz pedals out there that I'm not a huge fan of, or distortion pedals or whatever. But I keep positive and impartial about them on the most part, because I know, like, there's guys that love distortion pedals and fuzz pedals. I'm not particularly one of those guys, but I know a good one from a bad one. So if I hear one and I go, oh yeah, this is actually really pretty cool, then yeah, I try my best just to remain either impartial or just, yeah, I guess it's like anything. Some people like heavy metal, some people like classic rock, some people like rap.
Right.
So neither's wrong. It's just, what do you prefer? So that's my approach to doing videos, I guess, over the last couple of years at least. Anyway.
Yeah, you've definitely had more people. There's probably only been about 5 companies that have come after me wanting me to do demos. Of course, I'm horrible at like time. Like, so I'll get like, you know, they'll send me 5 pedals, and it might be 4 months before they get up there. You just because
oh wow, okay.
Well, sometimes like, cause I don't know, I'm bad about that. So that's actually one thing with my channel I need to get a lot better at, and I've been working on it this month. But it's being like consistent with, you know, when I'm uploading and how often, and that kind of thing. But yeah, there's been a couple times where I'm the same way. Like I got an octo fuzz one time, and I was like, I didn't know how to dial in the tone at all. It was just kind of like, here's what it does, and then I don't know. You decide.
Yeah, and that's like me. I've been given pedals that I don't understand the musicality of them.
Yeah.
Like octave pedals are look, I can get a okay sound out of some of those, but there's some like ring modulators. I don't even know why they exist. I turn them on and I think, how does this work for music? Like
Right.
I really don't get it. But that's based on my
Right.
my playing experience, and the music that I listen to in this collection might have it in there maybe once or twice in some heavier stuff, but most of the stuff I got back there is a guitar into an amp or other type of music. But that's the stuff that just there's certain pedals that are outside of your scope, and I don't get them anymore. People say, I can send you this and this. I said, don't even bother with those last two. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to make the most of it. So I just decline stuff that I know I'm not going to do a good job for.
That's interesting.